Now I'll edit Matthew 13:24 through 13 something. This is where Jesus tells his second and third parable to the group. And like I was saying, that's if you follow the other videos, you'll see that this is finally the place where um, I'm saying that the text in the middle, when he was talking to the disciples and explaining the last his parable, that here the text all of a sudden just picks up again. He wouldn't have took a break that long, so that text is out of order. He didn't present it. He told the crowd, and that may be compared, but can be compared to a male sowing wheat seeds in his field. That's sowing good seeds. Because as you see the text going below, here in fact, here it says wheat, so it has to be wheat seeds here. Well, men slept while he slept. His enemy came and sowed tares. Now, what happened is the weed that grows up with wheat is called a darnel. So I put the word darnel in. And then the text not sprang up, but began to grow, because that's what was visible. I don't know if it grows faster than wheat or not, but it would have been visible for them to see. The darnel appeared. Okay, so when the wheat began to grow, yes, the darnel appeared. And then not his slaves, but his servants. You have to understand that the Hebrews did not have slaves. They had what was known as a work prison for those that did not pay off their loan, and they could go and hire a person from there, but pay off the owner of the loan to that person. And then every 7 years, all of them were released from this work prison area and returned home. So there's rules there's laws from our Creator dictating that they really didn't have slaves. Their land was supposed to be for them. Okay, so his servant went to him and said, not sir, but master. A servant would say master, not sir. Did you not sow wheat seeds in your field? So how does it have darnel? So having the proper words in the proper place is very important. He told him, my enemy has done this. Then his servant asked him, what do you want me or us do you want me to pull them up? And what Jesus says is the master is saying, as for you, pull up the darnel. For as you pull up the darnel, you also uproot the wheat, pull up the wheat. So I don't think there's much needed to be explained of too much text that you couldn't understand or correct yourself. Not allow, but let. Not say, but tell my reapers to first go gather up the darnel. Okay, now it's already growing. And burn them, burn it. And then gather as I'm not using a barn, I'm using storeroom. If you have a barn, you have animals in the barn. If you have a storeroom, you're putting your things that can be stored through the winter time, the harvest. And that's not quite a barn. It would be a storeroom. It would be a lot tighter made than a barn. And barn is pretty much where animals can come in. So that is what's needs to correct. Just a little difference of the word, but meaning something better where they'd store other food as well. Again, he didn't present them. He told them another parable. It's like a mustard seed. Well, these words aren't needed. I'm just reading between the reading this and reading the next one, and that text is just not needed. It's a seed is smaller than other seeds. Yeah, when it was fully grown, any gardening plants, when it becomes a tree, the birds don't need this of the air. And I don't know why they capitalized a lot of these words. Usually they're supposed to denote words from our Creator that were like a prophecy. But I don't see, you can see the correcting here is not really, there's not much to say there. This is not much of a parable. So the object is I took that out, or we'll take that out. We'll leave that. Just change multitudes to crowds. Multitudes would mean to me crowds more than hundreds, or hundreds, where a crowd can mean up to 100. So, and we don't need this because we know he did speak many times without saying a parable. They're not spoken, it was written. I guess I need to change the word written to prophesied. Who's prophesied through? And it's not might be fulfilled. And Jesus wouldn't say it might be fulfilled because he is to fulfill all prophecies mentioned about him. So Jesus would never say might be fulfilled. Again, God added words Jesus, making Jesus look stupid or sound like he doesn't know what's going on with parables, to speak of things hidden, not utter. The word speak is better, I guess. Let me see. Just to make sure here. I want 35. And speak aloud is the definition. But notice this was only used once, this word. And yet I know if I clicked on the word utter and did a search, the utter would have been used a lot more, and there would have been a different Greek word. But the object is that they have this one word that they needed to stick in the text. So that's how you get those hidden for me. To speak of things hidden for me. of things hidden for me. Yes, yes. I'm just thinking that the word for here isn't correct, but it is. For before the foundation of the world. Speak of things hidden for me. I'm going to get rid of the period here, put that there, and then get rid of the words here. Do this. Because I believe this is what the intent is, that it was to speak of things hidden for me before the foundation of the earth. In other words, our Creator had told them that He was going to create the earth and the universe, and then the things that were going to happen on earth. This goes to the fact, like I was telling you earlier, about we existed before the earth was made, or before the universe was even made, or maybe before just the earth was made. Okay, this is just a reminder to me that the text started out that Jesus got into a boat in Lake Galilee, and the text here does not say where he went from. And then the next parable is that he talked with his disciples. And this I thought was in a different book. So here, the words that I was saying above that would seem to read out of place. See, here it is. When the multitude or when the crowd left, he went to a house. His disciples came in and asked him to explain the parable of Ter, or the darnel. So here, I'm just going to start out by saying that crowd shouldn't be, and like I said, a home to a house is different. And that saying asked him to explain the darnel in the field. He told them, I am the one sowing the wheat seeds. Okay, so Brian, let me see here something. I want to see the other text here. This is, whoops. This is 37. Good seed is the Son of Man. See, they have it, the one, and okay. What I did was I just put it, I am the one sowing the wheat seeds. Okay. And don't need this at the end. And you got to remember, the other thing is there's 81 verses that have son from or of man in the 4 books. So if I get rid of one, it's not really not getting rid of those words. The field is my earth, not the world. They didn't use the word world. That's a new word. The Hebrew always called it as earth, so I'm going to stick to the Hebrew text. And also mention that their vocabulary was not of many words. Maybe 20,000 different words can be found in the Hebrew text itself. And today we have something like 60 or more, 60,000 or more when we're speaking in English. So I'm just saying that it was just limited, and I'll stick to the limited word instead of saying that was in the Greek side. are his words, are my. I guess I added these two words as well. Seeds. Yeah. They need to be explained. Down here reads better. My field is the earth, and the seeds are my words. And that was explained also in the parable above, or the words that we have above. For my servants, not just sons, you have to include women, so servants, in my kingdom. Because he talks about his kingdom, they're not just sons, they're servants. We're all subject to Jesus being our Lord and King. So, and we are to follow him. The Darnell are the servants for Satan, not for evil, but for Satan. See, they had to add evil one, and so I just called evil, changed it to Satan. Let me see something here, if that's not what actually they could have done themselves. This would have been verse 38. Verse 38. I'm just going to do it right here, and if I see something, no, it doesn't say Satan. I was thinking maybe they used the word Satan to mean evil. But servants for Satan, not for evil. People's. Yeah, don't need this. This is pretty much saying it right here. Servants for Satan. And my harvest is in the day of judgment, end of age. Jesus speaks and teaches us what the day of judgment is. So that's another text, but he hasn't, I don't think he has taught that in the text of Matthew yet. But it's the day of judgment that's his second coming. And he's talking about my reapers are my angels, or his servants. I'm going to change angels to servants. Because they aren't sons, they're his servants. So I'm kind of relying on the added word that I put in to correct it, meaning that we're subjects under Jesus in his kingdom. So he's going to bring some of his servants with him at the second coming. I don't see here burned with fire by fire. So it'll be the end of ages. That just can't be true. The tares will be gathered up, because if we know the Darnell are servants for Satan, they are going to be burned with fire, to be burned by fire in hell. Is the way the words are speaking about what hell is going to be like. And I'm not sure of that being that accurate, I'll have to see as we go on. But here, this is talking about after this last day for man on earth, where we will be. So it'll be the end of ages. We already know that because it is the judgment day. For there to be removed from my kingdom. The darnel will be gathered up to be burned by fire, for they are to be removed. And this law should be capital letter, but let's see here. I think I'm going to change this just to in. And in my kingdom. I think this is better text. Not to be removed, because then he's saying some of them that are in heaven are going to be removed, and that's not what need to keep Jesus saying the truth at all time. I don't need to make errors of Jesus. They did enough of that. When cast into the furnace of fire, okay, yeah. Jesus is referring to this furnace of fire as being hell, okay? And that place, well, I will cast them into a place like a furnace of fire. They will cry out and gnash their teeth. They don't have teeth. So it will be the meaning of gnashing of their teeth. I will cast them into a furnace of fire, and there they will. Yeah, I don't need to correct that any more than what it is. I cry out, but just remember that gashing of teeth. They don't have teeth, Yet those of you males who want to witness the abyss and witness they have a soul and know what I know about the soul, that we have one, my first video in the list of visiting the abyss. His righteous will shine forth like lightning. Because it's capital letter here. Yes, we're talking about our Creator will shine, His righteousness will shine forth like lightning, meaning a very bright white, I say brilliant purity in my kingdom with our Father. So now we know that Jesus is kingdom, and yeah, I don't need to add to that. I'm seeing this. Okay. Not much needs to be added there to be said to correct it. Not which, when man finds hidden treasure. It's not just hidden, it has to be a treasure, because they're going to end up buying the field. They go and sell all they have to buy that field. I don't need that. That's just extra words. Sell to sells. Okay. My kingdom in heaven is like a merchant buying good pearls. Well, a merchant just doesn't know. A merchant, that would be a jeweler. So good. Well, let's see if pearls needs to be changed to merchants. Not fine pearls, but good pearls. Merchants seeking to find like a merchant seeking, because they're going to sell it to buy a field. Need to get down here and okay, because he's now, they ended up adding the word fish here, but the word pearl is being used here as well. So let's see. Okay, I'll leave pearls as is then. Great size is usually how they put value on them. Today, now we know there are many pearls, and because they categorize everything. I guess nowadays the black pearl is very valuable, but at that time, I don't think. I'm thinking it was a great size. The larger it is, would have been a great size. And then he went and sold all he had and bought it. Again, my kingdom, like casting not a drag net, but casting a net into the water to gather fish. And he finds one pearl great size, so he sold all he has and bought it. Okay, and my kingdom in heaven is like a casting, it's like a casting, it's like a casting a net into the water to gather fish. Yes, okay. Because you have to read into this. This is a parable, and I'm just trying to make sure that I've got the best words that can be used. Oh, yeah, now we're still talking about the net, and when it fills, they sit down and gather the clean fish, not the good fish. Our Creator has a law that there's foods that He wants you to eat and foods that not to eat, and the way that the words are used is unclean and clean. It could be healthy or healthy or non-healthy food. So here I'm going to go with the word clean right now because that's the way the Hebrew text describes what they are to eat and not worry about whether they're not supposed to eat it. So here's the word unclean. They throw away. That's why it's unclean, because you can't really tell a bad fish when you see it. You don't know if they're unhealthy or not. So only fish that had scales, so like a catfish you're not supposed to eat, stingray, shark, and those type of animals or fish, which would be considered a fish back then. So we'll be on the day of judgment. This has already been said, but they will not take out the wicked from among the righteous. They're, and don't know how his servants are going to do this, but the object is probably go around and tell each and every one of them where they're going to go before they die. But anyways, so it'll be on the day of judgment. So I don't need those words there. And again, he's saying again that they're going to cry out, gnashing of their teeth. Do you now understand? And they answered yes. They didn't say yes, they answered yes. So this is not very comparable to what the kingdom of heaven is like. So I'm removing that text. This is just so many times at the beginning of a sentence say this, so it's just not necessary to say those things. Because after he finished explaining, the word explaining needs to be put here. They parted from, and I have to put that home. Okay, so they went out to the sea. He sat in a boat. He told them. Then he returned to that home. Okay. Just to say where Jesus is at now in the storyline here. Now it's got now it's got his brothers here and stuff that I've gotten rid of. So what I did here was actually put the town or village. I put Nazareth here. He wasn't teaching, he taught in their synagogues or in their synagogue or their gathering place. And as he was doing that, they asked each other, where did Jesus, not this male, they knew who he was in his own hometown. So they would have, because they can't find Nazareth any, they're building in areas that have been designated long a time ago, where these cities are supposed to be. And then they go in there and they start digging up the land, and where it's supposed to be for a square mile around, they didn't find it. Maybe 2 square miles around, they didn't find anything. And that's what they're saying about where Nazareth is located on the map, that there is no archaeological evidence of where Nazareth is. And what I try to tell people is that a lot of times villages, the poor people still built stick houses or made their place of living out of hides or built stick items. They could have probably made them out of stones or mud brick type of thing. But I'm just saying Nazareth wasn't big enough to have a lot of that. So it would have been a village of a few people, maybe 100 people living there. So this is why I'm saying that they can't find Nazareth. And I just don't want to change the location of where they said it was. So where did Jesus get, let's see, his wisdom and his healing powers, not miraculous powers, they're his healing powers. Is he not the carpenter's son? Was he not Joseph's son? They would have known, like I said, they would have known the family. So they're saying, is he not Joseph's son? And his mother is Mary. they would have known Mary and Joseph by their first name. And again, I'm removing these as brothers because now they're trying to put names for brothers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this also goes along with me knowing that Jesus was 25 years old in the favorable year of the Lord because of the fact that that is the law for a priest, and a priest is then allowed to ask our Creator forgiveness for the people. So he had to fulfill that law. So if he was 25 at this time, and you try to put ages on their brothers here, are they actually walking around? Because Joseph and Mary were walking around with Jesus. Did they leave their other sons there? There's no mention of their sons other than text like this, but they're not related to a story like Mary talked to Simon to said, go to Jesus and ask him this, or if his that type of story anywhere in the text. It just comes out and says, these are his brothers. I think, I know I'm just going to get rid of them and not worry about it. Because it doesn't make sense to me that Jesus has to have brothers or sisters. There's another example. If they're going to, Joseph and Mary were going to Jerusalem to honor, to obey our Creator on the Passover, which means they had to be there every time. They don't talk about anybody else. Them when they searched out, and when Jesus was young, that they searched out and they couldn't find him. So the thing here is there's other texts that would relate to help me say there is no brothers or sisters. Yeah, here there's sisters. Yeah. I'm just getting rid of all that. Again, where did this man get all these things? And actually, we have the text already, his wisdom and healing power. Now then Jesus, I don't need this because this is getting the cart before the horse. So Jesus said to them, a prophet is not honored in his village, not town, village. This is something that really isn't told or explained in the Hebrew text. But we do have many prophets that live by themselves and have attendants. So they're not living with their own family. A prophet is not honored. And it would have been hard for people to accept a prophet until a prophet needs to approach the king, tell him this is what's going on, or approaches the people in Jerusalem and tells them this is what's going to happen. Now, you see a lot of people carrying this idea, saying, the world is tomorrow. Well, they can't be a prophet because it hasn't happened. So all of them would be false prophets. But it would take a while before they were actually known as a prophet. So one going around saying things that people think that are crazy, they aren't honored as a true prophet. Example, I keep telling people, our Creator made me see him 8 times, and you're seeing the knowledge that I have he's given me. And just there's too much evidence of me being a prophet, because a prophet is supposed to tell you about Jesus, and I'm a scribe that able to do the text to correct the text because the knowledge I've been given. At work, people recognized me as a prophet because there was things that I was doing there that they did recognize that, as a friend of mine would say, I raised me up a little higher than others to be noticed. Yes, that's what goes on in my life, yet I don't have people coming and call me a prophet. So the thing here is when Jesus is saying is not honored in his village, that is true, or as far as I know, and I've had that experience. He did not do healings there because of their disbelief in him, not miracles. But the only thing is I know the other text. Let me see if it comes out here. Yeah. See, what happened, though, is in another story, he walks out from here, and there is a leper there that he heals. So this, when I put them all together, you're going to see where some of these verses, even though that they're edited here, still can't keep them when the story gets together. There will be more verses lost as I go on. And why would it be? Oh, I changed unbelief to disbelief. Okay. Okay. Now it's Harold. When Herod. Yeah, I changed the first Herod's name, so this Herod is okay. When Herod, our governor, and they're calling it this here, but actually the governor over those three areas. There was a governor over each of them, each of those areas. But this would be in Israel. Let me hold this up. Here, this is right now, Jesus has been traveling around here. And so now I know the text above it had him already in Jerusalem down here. But this story now has to go back to he's in here traveling around because Herod is over. They had this labeled as Galilee. This started with an I, and this was called Judea, is what they had. So I've changed those names to these for everybody to understand and easier to understand the text and understand the layout of the land and its division. Heard about Jesus. He said to his servants, he is John the Baptist raised from the dead. Not this. This would be referring to Jesus as a this. If you were a writer, would you write and call Jesus this? And I am speaking to those who honor our Creator and Jesus. You know you couldn't do that, or you would never do that. He is John the Baptist risen from the dead. This is why he has healing powers. For now, it's going to talk about or Herod had. Yeah. Had John arrested, put in prison, and then because of Herodes, his wife, had been the son of Philip's, had been his brother Philip's wife, which is against our Creator's law. So John was speaking out against him, and this would mean that this Herod, even though he raised to the position as a governor for the Roman Empire, it just shows that they could advance in the Roman Empire, grow in power, But you got to understand, he didn't believe John. He didn't believe, so he's not really a good guy. But because he's married, he is just an atheist, and not an atheist with a sex practice, a meditation sex practice. So he's just a disbeliever or a non-believer or whatever. And John telling our people this is not lawful, okay, by YHVH's law, was what would have been needed. I don't think I need to explain, but this will be the end of this video here. And that's the text that just got done, and some corrections in between. Because when I hit that save button, you can see I did something that needed to be corrected. But on to the next one here. This one was 46.